Hey guys, doing a little sharpening on this True Temper Vintage axe head here, and wanted to stop, take a little break, and make a video about this style of hatchet. A couple people posted some messages to me when they saw it in the other video about why I would buy this kind of hatchet, and I wanted to kind of explain what it is and why you might want to own one. First of all, this is an old True Temper, flint edge, probably made, who knows, it's tough to date these things, anywhere from like I'd say the 20s to the probably 50s or 60s when this style kind of came out of production, and they went with a more modern shape, which had the kind of a flat top, more of a bearded look to it. But this is essentially a roofer's or a shingler's hatchet. This is something that would be used in carpentry rather than a wilderness setting, and that's what people kind of said, like, you know, with these old carpenter style hatchets, why would I even bother getting one, and how is it useful? So I wanted to look at that. First of all, when you look at hatchets, there's, you know, of course, normal ones that we're used to nowadays that have a curved edge. And that curved edge is designed to help accelerate your cuts. It gives you better cutting ability. So if you're cutting into limbs or trees, it makes better and deeper cuts. Now, a flat edge like this one has is particularly used for shaping wood rather than excuse me, shaping wood rather than chopping or cutting. Now, as anyone in a carpentry field, you may need to use a hatchet like this to maybe cut a notch into wood, or to maybe shave down a board to make it fit, or any of the many reasons you may need to use it. Now, these particular kind had a hardened pole, which was used for hammering nails as well. This was meant to be a multi-purpose tool that you could use to, say, cut roofing materials and also drive nails with. So these have a hardened pole as well as a hardened edge. So your typical hatchet is not going to have a hardened pole. You smash it on things metal, it's going to mushroom up and ruin it. So here is where things get useful when it comes to wilderness use and a tool like this. First of all, you're not going to use this to process firewood. You can use it to process kindling. It will do that job. You can use it to hammer, you know, baton and do all these different things. But the true reason to have one of these, at least in my opinion, is for making things like camp furniture and shelters and things like that. Say you are making, you know, maybe like a small log cabin style shelter. This is a really good axe to use for carving notches, cutting notches, and hewing small branches. You can use this to shape and to flatten the edges on small branches. I mean, you're only talking about a 4-inch cutting edge. So, but if you are using small branches, you can, you know, shape them and form them to fit together tightly using one of these. So I do find it to be a very useful wilderness tool. So, do you really want to carry two hatchets? Probably not, but in reality, if you are going out to make, say, a really nice shelter, or you are going out, and I love to make camp furniture, guys. I love to go out in the woods and make chairs and all kinds of crazy different camp furniture. So a tool like this is actually really helpful to me. And I remember being younger, I would often bring like a modern like roofing hatchet out into the woods just for that purpose. And, you know, nowadays the hatchets and stuff out there just aren't the quality of these old ones. So these roofing and carpentry style hatchets are not as collectible as the ones we use in the woods. You can typically get these for very cheap. I actually got this one for like not much. It was like $6 or $7, a couple bucks shipping. You know, it was really, really cheap. And you can find them on eBay, garage sales and all that, and they're not as collectible as something, you know, you would use in logging or in the wilderness. So they're more available, cheaper, easier to find, and you could carve a hatchet for one of the, or a handle for one of these in probably like an hour. I decided I'm going to buy one from the house handle company for this, just because I don't have time to carve another one, and I do want it to be a really nice fit for this, because I really want to get out and get back into making some camp furniture and stuff like that out in the woods, especially this winter. So what else is there to say, guys? This is a great tool to have. They're inexpensive to get. Even the new modern ones are, $20-30, but you can buy an old vintage one for less than $10, put a handle on it. You're talking $15 investment, and they're really good for doing those kind of tasks I talk about. And plus, if you have a homestead, you do a lot of your own work, this is a really good thing to have, because it's really easy. Say, if you are building something and you don't want to use power tools and you just want to shape a piece of wood, it's real easy to almost kind of use this like a chisel and to take material off, to shave it down, because you do have that flat edge, and it will give you a nice even flat, you can almost kind of use it like a draw knife on something like this. Now right now I got this thing surprisingly sharp, and you can use this in the wilderness. You can use this to make feather sticks and use it to process kindling, no problem. And this sucker got really sharp. The steel is actually really, really good in this, which is what I am really happy about. It's really taking an edge nicely. I don't know if we're going to focus. We got the sun coming out a little bit here, and but this actually shaped up very well. I've got to work a little bit on the edge because it's a little uneven. This side's got to be taken down a little bit. The shoulder's got to be taken back a little bit. You can see that end's a little flatter, but profiling these is real nice because they are a nice thin blade. So they are really good for shaping wood, and it's a good multi-purpose tool for being out in the woods. Like I said, not only can you shape wood and use it to cut notches and shape and form wood, and maybe even make log cabin style structures, but you also have the ability to use it as a hammer without destroying it, because it is a hardened pole, and it has a nail remover too, so that's kind of helpful, even though those things are pretty useless, but never hurts to have. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope it kind of explains why I would purchase something like this and what it's useful for, and why, for the $15 investment, it's not such a bad thing to grab yourself.